Hi everyone, my name is Mohammad Shafiq Shahad from Petronas Group Procurement. So, as some of you might be aware, we are upgrading our current licensing and registration system ROS into a new platform named Petronas Licensing Management System (PLMS). So, it is more like a replacement to the current ROS, but on top of it, we also going to introduce a lot of enhancement on the processes, on the simplification, to make sure that we should be able to simplify the licensing and registration process. And number two, it's easy for you because the navigation is much more intuitive. So here's are some of the difference between PLMS and ROS. So first of all, PLMS will come with their own homepage. The new dashboard will highlight all the important information at a glance. You will be able to see your license status. You can easily continue from where you left off before this, and you can easily check like the summary of how many swipes you have so far. And then we also make the process of filling up your company information is much more easier because we have built in the integration directly with SSM. So all your company information is auto-populated from SSM. You don't have to fill up anything on your company profile, company application. All you have to do is just to validate and ensure that the remaining fields are complete and accurate. In the event that your company profile is not updated, then you have to go to SSM and update that accordingly before you come back into PLMS and do the refresh. So in PLMS, company and SWAT application are separated altogether, meaning as compared to current ROS, you have to submit. For example, I take a simple example, let's say renewal. So inside renewal, you have to complete like all the company information, you have to complete all the SWAT information before you can submit to Petronas. So that alone took you around 1 or 2 months to just complete the application. So what we are doing in PLMS is that we are totally separating the process whereby you can first start with your company application. Once complete, you can submit your company application. So we can start to process your company application. At the same time, you can already start to apply for or drafting your SWAC one by one. So this greatly helps you to make the process much more faster, much more simplified. You will also be able to submit new SWAC application while waiting for approval of the previous SWAC submission. Right? And then your company and SWAC requirement are now centralized and easily viewable in PLMS. So if I want to compare to our current way of doing things inside ROS, I know you have to download. One thing, you have ROS as a system that you need to fill up all the information, but you also need to download a separate copy of the SWAC list as well as the MTR for you to refer to. So we have incorporated all of this requirement directly in the system, so it is easier for you to refer while doing the application because the requirements are reflected directly in the application screen itself. So if you see here, one of the example for key personnel, let's say the requirement is two key personnel. One is a project technical manager and another one lead senior engineer. So all the requirements are clearly stated here. Right, and then we also have the notification panel, as we call it. Right, so I think inside ROS before this, all the communication, all the rejection, or even the approval, we communicated through email. So, but in PLMS, everything is centralized into one single panel here. So you will be sent an email, number one. At the same time, you also get notification in the system that will guide you to specific items that require amendment. So for example here, company profile requires further findings. So you just click on the update company profile details and that the system will bring you straight away to the section that requires your amendment. Next is on the visibility of your application status. I know this is also the major pain point that all our suppliers or partners are facing, because inside ROS, there's a very limited information on your application status. You just have draft, submitted, and approved. That's it. But inside here, we clearly specify what are the processes or what are the steps required for your application or for your swag to be approved. So you will need to populate, you will need to comply to all of this information one by one, submit the approval, get it reviewed, and then finally you will get it approved. So it is easy for you to just refer to one system to monitor all of your submission. Alright, so that's all the important changes that we have introduced inside PLMS. But there's a lot more things that I can share, but I think because of the limited time that we have now, so I just focus on the important parts. So now we will share what will be your experience in using PLMS in a step-by-step. Right? So these are the steps that you will take once PLMS is live and roll out to you. The first thing that you will need to do is creating your PLMS account. From there, you can start your renewal process by submitting your company application, followed by your swag application. And if, let's say, after submission, if there is more information required in your application, let's say your technical person is not meeting the requirement or the experience that we required for the MTR, then you will be notified and asked to provide in step number 4, further information response, right? Otherwise, once your application is approved, you can proceed to pay the license and download your license certificate. So the last step is not really a step connected to this approval or even all of this, but this is just an application whereby this is optional, where you might want to update your company profile or swag MTR in order to keep it updated, or to comply with special condition, or even to upgrade from registration to license. So starting with account creation, when PLMS is live, you will be sent a system-generated email inviting you to register your company PLMS account. Right? So all of you are already our licensed or registered vendor in ROS and active. So when we go live later on, you will get an email notification saying that you have been invited to be as a supplier admin for your company name, and then you just have to click here to log in into PLMS. So after you create your account, just log in with your account credential, email address as well as password, and sign into my account. Right? In the event that you forgot your password, you can use the link here to just reset your password and follow the instruction in the email address. So the first step in the licensing registration process is, of course, submitting your company application. Right. So as most of you are existing Petronas suppliers, so 4 months before your license registration expiry date, you will receive an email notification reminding you to renew your license or registration. The first step here is you will need to click on the company profile. So on the left here, you can find one of the button here. I believe this is the button, the company profile. So once you get into your company profile, and there's a button for you to renew your license, right? So to start your renewal, just click on the renew license. So just to walk you through on the company profile, so these are basically your summary of your company that you have submitted to us before, like your company name, company information, shareholder, number of swags, all this important summary are here. Right? So after you initiate your renewal application, then click on the pop-up box here. Let's get started. So as mentioned earlier, when you key in your ROC number, so for existing supplier, your ROC number is already there. There will be a button for you to fetch your updated company information from SSM, and that information will be populated in the form directly. So you can't really change any of this information. It will be straight away pre-populated. So number one, it's gonna improve the experience because you don't have to fill up any of this information. It's just there. You just need to verify that your information are the latest one. If let's say in the event that your company information is not updated, then you are required to update your company information from SSM before you come back to PLMS and just refresh that another time. You just need to verify this information, all of it, and then after it's good, you have verified and you found out that this is your latest information. You just need to click save and review. After you click save and review, the system will bring you to another page, which is a company profile, right? So inside company profile, there's a few more optional information that you will need to submit. On the left of the screen, you will be able to see all the different sections of the company application that you need to complete. Here is an example of how a section will look like in certification. Right? So this is certification section. Once you have completed and reviewed all of the section, you can submit your company application and move on to the next step. Okay, so this is the SWAG home screen, right? There's a button on the left here for you to click on the SWAG application, and from here you will be able to see all of the 1,300 plus SWAGs that are available for you to apply. Okay, so you can search for the SWAG by navigating to the SWAG hierarchy in the left column here. So if let's say we have segregated by the category of the SWAG, for example, air transportation, catering, civil, consultancy, electrical. If let's say your company provide on electrical services or product, then you just click on electrical engineering, and you should be able to find your relevant SWAG. And then here on the center are all the SWAG listing, right? So these are the name of the SWAG, the SWAG code, the type, whether this SWAG code is for license registration, the minimum mode of operation, as well as some other requirements. Okay. If let's say you are interested to apply for one of these services, let's say feasibility study, conceptual design, subsea engineering, right? So you just click on this subsea engineering. On your right, there will be the summary of that SWAG before you start applying. So inside here, you will be prompted with all the requirements for this SWAG. For example, this one, they require the company experience, key personnel, facilities, equipment, as well as certification. So this is the part whereby you don't have to refer to the MTR, a separate MTR in the Excel or PDF, right? So you just have to refer here. If let's say you can meet this requirement and you are interested to apply this SWAG, then just click apply SWAG as self-operated. Okay, so similar to how we do things in ROS right now, one SWAG can have multiple mode of operation. So if let's say you want to apply a different mode of operation, let's say as agent, there will be a drop down up top here. So you just change the self-operated to agent or manufacturer or fabricator, whichever mode of operation that suits you. Then just change that and then proceed to apply. So once confirmed, click the apply SWAG button to proceed. All right. So for existing suppliers, right? Most of you are all the existing suppliers. If let's say your license is going to expire, then you will be prompted with almost similar screen, just that when you go into your company profile, there's a list of SWAG. So from here, you can see all of the SWAG that you have currently expired. Okay, so to renew, you just click on one of these items, one of the SWAG. Let's say I just want to renew subsea feasibility as well as engineering support services. So first I click subsea engineering services and I click renew this SWAG as self-operated. You will be redirected to the actual SWAG application screen, right? So on the left, there is a summary of the SWAG. This is still similar to how we do things in ROS right now. We don't really change it that much. On this part, we have number one, the principal, the key personnel, experience, facilities and equipment, certification, vessel and rate. So it depends on the mode of operation or even swag that you have selected. Some swag only have one, some swag have all, and maybe some swag don't even have any of these MTR. Okay, so if let's say there is MTR, then of course you need to comply with the MTR. Okay, here is an example of how filling in the MTR will look like in PLMS. The requirement will appear in a box on the right here for your reference. So as and when you fill up this, all of these requirement, you can easily refer to. For example, here, minimum 5 years project experience in executing subsea feasibility studies and conceptual engineering. So you will need to, I already included 2 examples here. So if let's say you want to add more, then just click button select here and then fill up the details of the MTR, and then you can see all the requirement here. But again, all of these requirement after you submit is still subject to our approval. Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, you will see submit button. So you just click on the submit, and this swag application, this one swag application we will start to review the swag application. And like I mentioned before, after you submit this swag, you can start to apply for another swag. All right, so after your submission, your company and swag application will be processed, and subsequently your application may be returned to you if more information is needed, which brings us to step number 4, further information response. In the event that your application requires further information, you will receive an email and message in your dashboard notifying you to amend your application. So in this notification, you will be informed on the section that require further input, and links will be available directly to navigate you to required section. For example, here we have reviewed your application and found out an error for one of the section. So please review your application and resubmit. So what you need to do next is just click on the update company profile button. So once you click on that link, in this example, we are required to amend the certification section. So as you can see, this section is highlighted in yellow here, certification and required info. And then here also we highlighted in yellow. Right? So at a glance, you know exactly that, okay, these are the part that I need to amend with the remarks over here. In this process, you can just amend according to the remarks. So if let's say the certification was expired, then you can resubmit within your certification. And then after that, you can resubmit your company application. The same process applies as well to the swag application, right? So in this case, you apply for one of the swag, and then the key personnel requires further information. You will clearly see on the screen that section highlighted as yellow with some of the remarks, right? So what you need to do is just comply to that requirement and resubmit the application. Now, for the next step is the approval and license fee payment. Once your company application has been approved, you will be notified to pay the license fee. If you are applying or renewing your patronage association, then no payment is required. Okay, so it's a bit of change to how we do our current ROS, because inside ROS, you will need to wait until your company approval, and then you need to wait until first swag approval before you need to pay the license. But in the effort to simplify the process, what we do in PLMS is that after you submit your company application and it has been approved, you can start even to pay your license. At the same time, after you pay the license, you can straight away you can start to apply your swag, and then add another swag on top of the license certificate. So as and when your swag has been approved, it will be automatically updated on top of your existing license. Okay, so to begin the license payment, again, you just log into your dashboard. So there's a button for you to pay license fee. Just click on that button. So after you make the payment, then you can download your license certificate. Okay, so to view your license certificate, there's a button as well. Just click on view certificate and then you can download this. Right, so approval and license fee payment is the final step in the overall end-to-end new or renewal application for license registration with Petronas. This is the optional step, updating your license and registration, updating your company or updating your swag. Right? So if let's say you think you want to update some of your information, then you can do so in this step, update license and registration. So if let's say you want to update your information, just click on the update details, and then the same process apply. You will go into the company application, provide your changes, and then submit, and then after that we will approve your company information. Okay, so after I click on that application, your company application will reflect as status in draft, right? To indicate that you are currently updating your information. Right. So like I mentioned before, to upgrade from registration to license, you just go to the company details section here and just select license and then submit. Right. Once we approve your application, then you will need to pay your license. So similar to updating your company profile, you will be able to also make changes to your swag details if updates are required, right? This may include a change of principal, a change of mode of operation, or even you want to comply with a special condition. Navigate to the swag list and click on My Swag here, or you can even go to company profile, click on My Swag, you will see the same listing, right? So on your swag list, you will see all the important status. So if you see here, this is active, indicate that this swag is active. This is expired, then you need to renew your swag. And then if let's say I want to update the non-compliance part because there's a special condition or even there's some requirement that you don't meet, right? So to initiate the process, click on the three dot here, the option button. Okay. The swag will reflect its status as draft, right? Similar to company application, and you can proceed to make the necessary changes to the applicable section, right? So in this case, I want to change my principal. Let's say I've appointed another principal, then I just need to remove Geokinetics Incorporated and select a new or declare a new agent, and then submit your swag application. So that's basically updating your application. That brings us to the end of our PLMS walkthrough. To wrap up, we want to share some quick do's and don'ts with regard to PLMS. In addition to PLMS, we are also updating our swags. The updated swags will have a clean, clear structure and will have an expanded scope for certain categories. So all swags, all your existing swag will be automatically remapped and reflected in PLMS and will be immediately be accessible to you upon go live. What this means is there will be clearer swag definition, updated swag codes, and description and streamlining the categories, right? So if you see our current swag list, you might find like a duplicate of swag, like in a way similar swag. So inside we have cleaned up all of these issues into much more clearer, cleaner and streamlined categories.